Sup, bitches? Welcome to the Sassy Spiritual Bitches podcast.
Hello, hello.
Today we're going to talk about ghosts.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
I know, we've been looking forward to this one.
Ghosts are like my favorite.
Yeah. And you know what? When I was doing my like questioning, is the spiritual world real? Like before I got connected to aliens, I was like, let's be honest. We can't dispute that ghosts exist. Like that shit is an anomaly that no one can explain, and almost everyone's had some sort of like experience with. I was like, if ghosts are real, that means the soul is real. That means something is going on that we can't explain.
Which means aliens are real.
Fuck yeah.
Which means Bigfoot is real.
Yes.
There's so much shit that I'm like, I thought that was bullshit, but this is totally true.
Yes.
You know?
And like I could pretty much explain away everything, except I was like, oh, I feel ghosts are real. Like we can't explain that away.
Do I think that some people make fake shit and say it's real ghosts?
Yes.
100%. But I have experienced way too much shit in my short little life to be like, this is real. You know, like it has to be.
Yes.
There's no other explanation for it.
I agree.
I'm excited to hear your stories.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a listener story.
Yes. I was hoping someone submitted one. No one gave it to me.
No. Well, I mean, you guys, but to be fair, we didn't give them a whole shitload of time.
No.
Okay.
Or really that much notice.
No. But going forward, you guys, start sending us ghost stories because we will do this. This will be a series every now and again. I don't know how often, but we will be doing, more ghost.
Seriously,
things.
Send us, honestly, any weird story because we're doing those Freaky Fridays on our Instagram, those Manic Mondays.
Oh, 100%.
And it's just like the most random, weird shit that's unexplainable.
Yes.
And like, let us know because we'll feature your stories instead of ours.
100%. Like, help us out. Plus, I love hearing other people's stories. I think it's one of my favorite things ever.
Oh, same.
Oh my God, I love it. So we are coming to you from a different location today.
Yes. I hope we do this more from this location. It's beautiful.
I love it. It is. We're sitting in my parents' gazebo because I am house sitting right now. And there's nothing but plants surrounding us. We're in a nice screened-in section. And there's trees and there's birds and there's dogs outside. So you'll be hearing a lot of extra sounds, which is fine. I think it adds to the ambiance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was so psyched. Look, I'm wearing my little ghosty necklace.
I was like, that's so cute.
I'm wearing my little obsidian ghost here. And then I woke up this morning. I think I sent you. Did I send you a Snapchat? It was so foggy.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked so fucking magical out here. And I'm like, oh man, too bad we weren't like recording right now because it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe.
Yeah, it was really nice. And I was like, you were like, we can record from my house today. And I was like, are you sure you don't want to record from the gazebo? Because
yeah. Well, I sent
really
that
nice.
to you, and then as soon as I sent that to you, I'm like, that's stupid. Of course we're gonna like that's dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if I have to drive back out here. Fuck yes.
Yeah, exactly. I brought work with me too to do after, but we'll see if that happens.
Yeah. Well, it took us forever to start. We started talking, and then
we haven't hung out for a while. It feels. I was away for a few days.
Yeah. And then I was working a lot too.
Yeah, you were super busy,
and things are picking up too. So
yeah.
It's cray.
It is crazy. And the craziest fucking part about it, honestly, you guys, like, I don't know, I can't speak for Randy, but I can speak for myself, is like, I'm still somebody, I don't want to say I question things because I don't, but every once in a while, I'm like, do I really understand the timeline coming down the pipe, or am I just like hoping for things? And we've heard for months, like I would say over 6 months, at least, about how it was going to hit the fan coming to the end of the summer, and we were going to get really busy and things were going to get intense. Randy and I have both seen it pick up.
Big time.
Big time. And I'm like, oh shit, like the big blow up hasn't even happened yet. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
People are feeling it because I'll be like, especially in my energy sessions, because those are really picking up again. Sweet. Coaching and energy sessions. And I'm like, so what's up? I'll ask my clients, like, is there something specific? And they're all just like, I don't know, I feel weird. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah.
And before I was saying, I was like, I'm excited and scared. But now the fear is just dropped and I'm like, I'm just fucking excited. Like, what the fuck is this going to be?
Yeah.
And I have a friend who's an Akashic record reader too. And fuck, she's good. And we did a session trade and she's like, yeah, she's like, I've been trying to find out what's going to happen, but it's definitely something with the sun. I was like, yes, the sun, whatever the sun does is going to trigger everything. What is it going to trigger? I don't know, but it's going to be so cool.
It's going to be epic. So I did a reading today with 2 different decks.
Oh yeah.
2 different decks. Well, let's do a precursor to this. So I pull a card of the day, right? Just one card for myself, you know. And for pretty much every single day there, death, death, death. Then I had one day with judgment. Then it was death, death, death. Like, that doesn't happen.
Mm-mm.
Like, if you guys pull cards, you know it's very hard to get the same card multiple days in a row.
Statistically, even very unlikely.
Yeah. And I was just like, fuck, the death card again. Okay. And then today I did a reading with one deck, and the tower came up, like, and the Hierophant, the death card. So, like, institutions are going to fall. Foundations that we have built that we know of as the world is going to fall and die away. Like, the judgment is like a rebirth. We're all being called up to deal with our karma. And then the second deck, same thing. The tower card was there. The Hierophant was there. The tower was there. Like, they were all, and I'm like, okay, you cannot, yeah, sure, there was other cards. Like, it was like they were adding to the first one, but those main key ones were in both readings.
That's crazy.
That does not happen.
No.
So.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. And when this stuff happens, like, I really hope that you guys all embody the, like, frequency of hope. These things haven't served us for a really long time. We've just been like, I've seen it called something like the bamboozlement. Like, it's like they've fucking mind warped us so intensely that we think we need to rely on these institutions or the government or authority figures to tell us who we are, and we fucking don't. So when it crumbles, be pumped. Like, hold the vibration of, like, excitement of a new day, because guess who gets the power back? The people.
Yeah, totally. It's exciting times.
So exciting. And you know what?
And now I'm not even, like, I don't have any fear about it, but now I'm like, can we just get the show on the road?
Yeah, I'm like, bring it on.
But I've been like this for the past 4 months. I'm like, let's do this. I know it's coming. I can feel it. It's coming. It's coming. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And now I'm just like, okay, where the fuck is it? I know it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Like, let it be tomorrow, you know?
Well, now I feel prepared. Like, if you guys have been listening, I was a hot mess a few weeks ago. So now I'm finally feeling like, yes, I'm ready. I've got my ducks in a row. Things are lined up. Let's do it.
I feel like last week might have been a bit of an anomaly. I think I had a rough start to Leo season, but I'm actually feeling a lot better now.
Good. I don't feel as zesty as I did at the beginning of Leo season, but I still feel good.
Now I'm just like, fuck, bring it. Like, I have that cocky
that
attitude,
confidence.
You know?
I know, and I've been like, I'm having a great summer, but I've been doing a lot. Like, I've been a lot of places and doing a lot of stuff, and I'm like, fuck, I'm just hemorrhaging money, and I'm all over the place, and I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. It's gonna be fine, and it's gonna come back. It always does. Like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I've been just trying to catch up on my bills. Just scraping by, but I'm like, thank you, universe. Like, never, like, for as short of a time as I've been doing this, I shouldn't be able to just make my bills. Like, I should be not making my bills.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Isn't
so I'm
it
like,
so
this
weird?
is fucking cool.
I always remind myself of that. I'm like, have you ever not made it? And the answer is no. I've always somehow made it. And it's like, well, then shut the fuck up and make it then. Yeah.
So many times I'm like, oh, I'm going to be short this month. Oh, whatever. It'll be there. And sure as shit.
It's almost like
there.
It's so fucking crazy. And you know, I was listening to a channeler. She wasn't even a channeler. She's like an astrology person. I was watching one of her channeled kind of messages or whatever. And one of the things that's coming up, all of this is leading up to this fall of the things that don't serve us and the rise of our personal power. And one of the things she said was like, are you going to have faith in source? Are you going to have faith in your incarnation, or are you going to keep believing that it can't be possible? And I was just like, and it's like, I already say this to myself all the time, but it kind of gave me goosebumps. I was like, yeah, like, why do we doubt that the universe will not take care of us if we're taking care of ourselves? It will always work out for you.
It totally always does. Always.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was actually dealing with, that sounds terrible. It's horrible wording. But I had a session this morning, and that was one of the things that came up was the matter of faith. You know, it's like, well, who are you going to put your trust in?
Exactly.
Are you going to give it away, or are you going to give it to you?
Exactly. And, you know, so it wasn't the same kind of thing, but I had a session earlier today too, ironically. And this woman was like, I feel so gifted. Like, I can see spirit. I know. But how do I take it to the next level? And I was like, you're gifted if you're gifted. And we're all gifted in some capacity. I was like, you can't learn intuition. You have to learn to trust your intuition. And that sometimes is the hardest thing, is having that faith that you know what you know. And I still sometimes waver with it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, I still sometimes waver with it, but it's been like solid full time for 2 years now.
But isn't it nice though, like when you finally surrender to it and then you see it in action and it's like, oh damn.
It's crazy. Yeah. So Randy, this actually just happened to me. So normally I would have shit my pants if someone would have asked me to do this. Randy did a session with our good friend Marcy.
Hi Marcy.
What's up, Marcy?
She listens.
We need to get her on this fucking podcast.
100%.
She is hilarious. You guys are gonna love her.
For sure.
So Randy did a session for her, and they were like very baffled by the end of it, and they were like, you better go talk to Kayla. Like, I don't know why you guys suggested that, but there's like all of a sudden like, Kayla will make sense of this.
Well, it was like I knew, okay, I got this snippet, but there's more to the story here, and I just knew that like you were. Yeah. I just knew that you would have the other part,
and it did have to do with her karma, so that makes sense. But anyway, so they're like, Kayla, make sense of this, and like I was like, and they didn't give me any background, zero context, and I was like, holy fuck, like how am I gonna align to this? Like, I don't know. And I just for once was just like, you know what, fuck it, Kayla, you know what, you know, just listen. And I listened, and it was just like, I don't know, I think it was like creepily bang on for what you guys said.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, for once in my life I didn't resist something, and it worked out really great.
Even though you were a little nervous about it.
Oh, I was still nervous. And I think that's something that if you're a practitioner out there and you think that we're like sitting over here with all this confidence, I'm nervous every single session I do. I don't know. I'm like, fuck, I hope this works out. I'm still nervous, but I've still somehow surrendered to it.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
That's a new thing.
Well, that's good. I was nervous when I started. Now I'm just like, let's do this.
Oh, God damn.
You know, you ever seen that meme? It's like, I think it's about like new moon rituals or whatever, but it's like real witches are all prepared and stuff. And then there's me like breaking all the rules. Cheeto, like they're talking about something about wiping Cheeto off my mouth. And I'm like, let's do this. Like, that's where I'm at in my career right now. I'm just like, yeah, let's do it.
I'm trying to move into it because you did a channeled messages for me and you were like, stop. You literally, I don't even know what it meant at the time, but you said to me through my spirit guides, they're like, stop using the Akashic records for everything. You don't even need it anymore. You know what you know. And I'm like, God damn, do I waste a lot of time researching the records. Like, if I just said it, I'd save a lot of time.
Indeed.
And then I've been like, haven't completely stepped away from them, but I've like, just like, I just open it and I don't go like researching. Does that make sense? I just stand in the Akashic records and I'm like, come to me, bitches. Like,
it's like, I don't have to look for it. It comes to me.
Yes, that's what I've shifted. And I'm like, damn, did that ever save time? And honestly, I feel like it's more clear. Mm-hmm. Like, I took a course on how to read the Akashic records. And fuck, am I glad that I don't do it that way anymore. God damn it, that was time consuming.
But it's a good base, though.
Oh, yeah. I never would have known if I wouldn't have taken the course. Super grateful for that.
That's like my Reiki. I took Reiki. I've taken crystal healing, like long courses, right?
She went to Australia.
I went to Australia for my crystal healing to learn the hands-on portion. I mean, did I have to? No, but I was just like, no, this is important. You need to physically be it, feel it, you know? So I was like, okay. And then 6 months of hard. I mean, I had up to a year to do it, but I did it in 6 months because I was just like that engrossed in it.
Oh yeah. I was like waiting. Mine course was like a couple of months, I think. And I was waiting for the next module to come out. I hammered everything out before. I was like, no, I'm ready.
I was just like, oh my God, and it was like, it makes sense to me. I understand this. This is a remembering. This is not a learning. Right. So anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, no. But when I first started, I did everything by the book. Oh yeah. You know, because I'm like, okay, this and then this and then, and I'm like, no, this is not the way I work it. And now I'm going to start teaching Reiki because I can. Like I am a master teacher. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do some classes. But then part of me is like, no, I should teach how I was taught.
No.
And I'm like, no, that's incorrect. So like my way of doing things is going to look completely different than most Reiki. And I'm like, when I first came up with this and I'm like, this feels right. I'm like, ooh, but I'll be judged. And now I'm like, this is important and this is how I do things. Like I've evolved to this and it's very important. This was missing in my training. This needs to be brought in.
Exactly. And I used to say this all the time, but I didn't really start embodying it till recently. But the more authentic you are and you tap from the knowledge base that you already have from your past lives, from this life, from your ancient teachings, from your otherworldly teachings, the more you pull it in, the better it's going to work out for you. And honest to God, you guys, the more that I just go off the cuff and I'm just like fucking like, I don't know, this is what's coming through. And I feel the need to share this with the collective. It gets better and better. Like I'm not like super comfortable with like being an authority figure or like sharing messages, but I shared one yesterday on Instagram. Well, I guess it's not yesterday now, like a week ago, I guess. And I was like, I don't know. I just feel that people need to hear this because it has been haunting my day-to-day experience. And I shared it and it had like 500 views in 24 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I had so many messages and feedback saying this was the perfect time to hear this. And I just like totally followed my intuition. That was it. It's like,
that's cool.
It's crazy what you do if you just let go and you just surrender.
Oh, yeah. I'm very confident in the messages I give. I'm very confident in my, but I don't know why I'm just like, I have to get over the ego still a little bit of, and I know this is my karma and you've told me this, but it's like, I don't know if you deserve to hear this.
Yeah.
Because I got, you guys, my past lives, I got so fucked over
so many times because she's been a psychic and like I don't know if you'd like that word. I think you don't like it, but it's a good description. It's a good description. She's been this forever. That's like the bane of Randy's existence, is being this medium between the two worlds, and she's done it forever. As soon as anybody in her past lives figured this out, it was like, let's take advantage of that. Let's use her to work the like bad, or let's kill her. Like no, or it's wonder like,
if you tell her something that we don't like, even though you might be correct, we're going to lock her up and starve her to death.
Yeah, for real. So I can see why you're like, fuck it. No one's ever had my back. Why would I have their back?
It's like, you guys aren't going to do anything with this anyway. You know, like that's what I'm getting over. Yeah. But that's my karma, and I know I'm supposed to get over it, so.
Yeah. I'm just faking it till I make it, to be honest. Like my karma is being the fullest version of me and knowing that it'll be okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know it's like so easy, right? You hear someone else's your karma and you're like, I could do that, no problem. And then you're standing in your own karma. You're like, oh, this is really hard.
Why is this like this? Yeah, I know.
So being the fullest version of myself and believing that there'll be anybody there at the end or any like kind of thing. That's sort of mine. It's almost like the opposite in a way, don't you feel?
Kind of. Yeah.
I'm not surprised though. Everything
you and I have very opposite stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, people are always going to be there, whatever.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, if I let my weirdness out, no one will listen to me anymore, and I'll have nothing.
And I'm like, I'm just my whole life, I'm just going to be weird.
Yeah.
Like I swear to God, my whole family is just like.
It's like similar but different. It's like I'm afraid to be my true self. You're not afraid to be your true self, but we both assume that it will be misinterpreted or misused by like the masses.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like weird. It's weird, hey?
Similar message, just different backgrounds, I guess. It's kind of funny.
It is weird.
But yet here we are doing a podcast.
About ghosts.
That we have not mentioned in like the last 18 minutes. Or something.
Okay.
Okay.
For real.
For reals though. We're gonna talk about ghosts. Yeah. Because that's why you're here. That's why we're here.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing ever. I know we have already talked about that, but fuck, I love ghosts. I love them. Okay, well, I don't even know where to start. Like, I feel like I have so many stories, but I also can't think of any. You know? So I think I'll start with a place and do a couple of like little ones in association to that particular.
Yeah, that's kind of how my
place.
stories go too.
So, let's rewind or go backwards to like the 90s. Which is
90s.
Woohoo, so far back. But I love the 90s. Fuck, I miss them. But anyway.
I was a kid, but it was a good time.
It was a great time. Great time to be a teenager. But we would perform at this place called the Powerhouse, because it was like an old powerhouse for like the city. And behind it was an old tuberculosis asylum. It was all on this one property.
Is this around PA?
Yeah.
Where was it?
By Pine Grove.
I remember that place.
Yes, the asylum.
Okay, oh my god, I
100%
have
you
a
do.
story from there now.
Okay, put it in the back.
Okay.
So anyway, in the Powerhouse, everyone talked about the ghost. It was the Blue Man.
Ah.
That's what we called him, the Blue Man. Before the Blue Man Group, I would imagine. You know, like...
Yes.
But, like, so many of the actors didn't ever see him. But I remember we went out, we're all just being cocky, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go fucking check this thing out. And the Powerhouse, of course, this was not in the summer when shows were going on, so it was all locked up and you couldn't get in. And we peeked in this one window, and sure as shit, there was this blue, it was just...
Holy fuck.
It was... And I don't know if I was the only one. I don't remember who I was with. I think there was only like 2 of us, and I might have been the only one who actually saw it. But it was like a glowing blue, like it was like if somebody drew a gingerbread man.
What?
You know?
No way.
You know, but it was like life size, and it was like glowing blue. Like there was no facial things. It was just a glowing blue, like, man. And we fucking booked her out of there so fucking hard. And then another time, we, like I don't know how many of us, 5 of us or so. Like you know how when you're teenagers, you all hang out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in those days, no one could afford cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
So we would pick a place, everyone was on their landlines. Okay, we're going to be here, we're going to be here, we're going to be here. So we decided to meet out at the Powerhouse. And it was like summer, late summer, I would say. And so we're like, okay, well, we'll all meet there. Because I think maybe even one of them was out there or something. I can't remember. But anyway, it was like, we're all going to meet there and then we'll decide where we're going. Okay, sounds good. So we all drive out there. And I mean, like we took 2 cars. Ooh.
Yeah.
There's a few of us. But I remember we're all standing around trying to decide where we're going to go from there, right? And I got the worst feeling. Like it was just, I don't know how to describe it other than it was pure evil. And it was like boring into my back because we were standing outside. And I knew it was coming from like the asylum, right? So I'm like,
fucking scary.
Oh my God. And I am not a decision maker. If you guys know me in real life, it's like, I'll go along with whatever anybody wants, you know? And at that point, I was like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Oh
like,
God.
I'm just freaking out. And nobody else, of course, is paying attention. And I'm like, you know what? We're just going to Tim Hortons at this place. Blah, 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 blah. Hopped in the car and I was fucking out of there.
Holy shit.
Like, I was not giving any, like, this is what we're doing. Too fucking bad. And we booked it. And I was just like, it was pure evil. I don't know how else to describe to you the terror of like boring.
And you don't get scared easily, I don't think. So to have that happen, I feel like
it was so creepy. Like like it felt like I had 2 eyes boring into my back. And that has only happened like a couple of times in my life. And I was like, we got to get out.
Holy shit.
So another time, because what else are you going to do in a small fucking town, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my friend got her license. And so we're like, let's go cruising. Naturally. What else do you do?
Mm-hmm.
So we're driving around town. And we're like, well, we've driven all around town. What are we going to do? We don't have cell phones. Can't scroll social media because it didn't exist. You know what I mean? So we're like, okay, let's go. Well, let's just cruise out to the Powerhouse. So we did. And then we were like, we gotta go. Like there was nothing out there, you know, but we both were just like, I feel weird. You gotta go. And we're driving and both our eyes are staring forward because I'm in the passenger seat. She's in the driver's seat. And I was like, there's someone in the back seat.
Oh my God.
And she was like, neither one of us would look behind us. And she's like, so do you? And I was like, there's totally someone in the backseat. She's like, yeah. And like,
oh my God.
But it was this little girl that was sitting in the back
fuck.
seat. And then, so you had to turn off a highway, go down a bit of a dirt road and like turn off into there. And then you were kind of on that property. So like the whole time we're driving off the property, we're going down this fucking grid road. And like, it felt like it was maybe a 2-minute drive. It felt like an hour. And then as soon as we turned onto the highway, she disappeared.
Oh my God.
But it was like the most terrifying. I don't know if we were stuck in some weird dimension loop or whatever, but it was like, honestly, those 2 minutes felt like an hour.
That's so weird.
It was the
That things like that
creepiest
happen too.
fucking thing ever.
Weird. I love it. Speaking of the asylum.
Yes.
So
I haven't even talked about the experiences in the asylum, but yes, go.
So if you've been listening, you know, like I need hard proof. Like I need something that convinces me something is real before I ever buy into it. So we used to go to these haunted places all the time. And I was always like, maybe, maybe not. So this one time we were at the asylum, and I want to say that it was 2 cars full of people, but there only one car like drove into the asylum. And then we just like, I don't even know how we all got in there, but there was only one car, but there was too many people.
Yeah.
And everybody, I was like...
This was a party spot as well, by the way. It should be noted.
So everybody was getting high in the car, and I didn't really do that at the time. So I like stood outside, and I had a friend, Monica. She came out of the car with me. So they were getting high in the vehicle, and we were just standing outside, and it was just us. And like the car was already full. There was like every seat was covered. So we're standing outside the car talking, and all of a sudden we hear like, you know, if you would drop a coin on like a glass table and it was like slow woo woo woo, like about to fall. That's exactly what it sounded like in the bush. Like the asylum was in the bush. Like it used to be a building. There was fucking really nothing there.
Yeah.
At the time. So we were like, and we like looked at each other, and it like echoed and it was really ominous. And we looked at each other and we're like, what the fuck? And we'd heard it was haunted. And then all of a sudden we could hear like low sounds, like really low, like voice. You can't make the words out.
Yeah.
And then we looked at each other like, what the fuck? And we opened the car doors, and there's no room for us in there. But we just like jumped on everyone's lap, and we're like, go, go, go! Like, get the fuck out of here! Oh, it was so scary. But that was my only, like, I'd been to the asylum maybe a couple other times, but that was the only time. But I was outside of the car when that happened.
Yeah.
It was so freaky.
We, of course, it was a party spot. And so one of the cast parties, because it was literally right across, somebody had this fucking great idea that we're going to have it in the fucking asylum.
Oh, God.
And somehow I was left alone, and like everyone went ahead of me.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like walking up to this building, and I'm like, this is not okay. This is not good. I started to feel like anxious. I was like, my heart was pounding, and I'm like, this is not good. They're not happy here. This is not good.
Oh shit.
And I was literally going up the ramp, and I'm like, I can't do this. And then I turned around and started walking like away, and 2 people came up. They're like, come on. And they grabbed me and they started dragging me in. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. And, but it was weird because the entryway was not good. The first 2 levels, not good. But like, I think it was this, or maybe it was the second level where the party was.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were like okay with people being in there. So it was like a chill vibe. But like the second you walked out of that room,
oh my God,
they were on you.
Creepy.
And I was just like, bye. Like, I did not
God,
last
so
there.
Creepy.
At all. I just couldn't do it. It was just this terrible, ominous, fucking scariest fucking feeling.
Fuck that. Yeah.
And it was just like pure danger. That's what it felt like. You know, like when you like that fight or flight kicks in and it's like, I'm in danger here.
Oh shit.
It was that feeling.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
And I was just like, I'm out. I'm fucking out.
Did you ever play with a Ouija board?
I used to play by one by myself.
Oh, fuck.
Of course I did.
Yeah, of course you would. I used to play with the Ouija board all the time in like high school, and I was like, I don't really believe this. You always just like have this lingering feeling that someone else is moving it. You know, you're like, oh, there's like a bunch of people. And then one time we were in like the middle of like a session, if you will. And then my friend was like, oh, my phone's ringing. So he was like trying to find his phone and he couldn't get it. And then, so it's just me with the little Ouija pad or whatever.
Little planchette.
Yeah, planchette. And I'm like,
I love that word.
It is a good word.
Planchette.
I didn't know that was called. But anyway, I was playing with it and all of a sudden it was like doing crazy things. And obviously I was like, it's not me. I'm not doing this. Like, it's moving on its own. And then I was just like, holy fuck. And I threw the Ouija board, which is apparently like the worst thing you could do is like leave all that open.
You didn't say goodbye?
No.
That's not good.
I didn't. And it was in my driveway, which is the worst. Just left the portal in my mom's driveway. Yes. Sorry, Mom. And then one time it was doing like crazy figure eights. And apparently that's really bad. A bunch of figure eights.
Was it going to Z-O?
I was just figure eight. We didn't, I don't remember.
That's usually a sign of Zozo.
Who's that?
The Ouija board demon.
Yeah, it was definitely, I remember it was bad. And we knew that was bad, so we were like, bye. And then it just dead stopped and went to bye. And we were like, what the fuck was that?
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually have scary experiences with a Ouija board. I sold mine. Now I'm kind of sad that I did, but
I don't know if you get me to play with one of those again. I mean, I kind of understand good and evil now, so it's not as scary to me, but like...
I want to get a spirit box or an Ovilus.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
But
sounds more light and airy.
So, I don't know what the fuck. I remember, so this was in the summertime, and I used to have this set of twins that lived next door to me at the cabin, and we were all best friends.
They're like real people or ghosts?
Real people.
Okay.
No, these were real people. And they would come in and like spend time with me in the city. So one weekend it was like, because it was summer holidays and like they're stuck out there by themselves. And so they're like, well, their parents were like, fine, you can go in. And my parents were like, yeah, come spend the week because we're going, it was weekend to weekends. We were always out at the cabin, right? So we decided, I don't even know how this came up. I don't know why we thought this would be a good fucking game to play. Fucking midnight, right? And we're like 12, 13, so still relatively young. And there was a game, kind of like a Ouija board, where you write questions.
Oh, fuck.
And you leave, like, on a different page of each notebook. Like of a notebook on a different page, and you leave a pencil there and you leave the room and you invite them to come like answer your question. Oh my God. I don't know what the fuck, but it felt like the vibe in there was so scary. So I don't know what the fuck we were calling in, but it was like, I was like, you guys, this is not, no. And we had ourselves so fucking freaked out. Like nothing ever got written on the paper. But we totally fucking left the room, right? And we like freaked out, left the room. My mom was like, what is going on? And my dad was laughing at us, of course. But like my mom, here's her trying to deal with these three like fucking terrified tweens.
Oh my God.
And she's like, I'm sure there's nothing. And we're like, we're not sleeping in that room. Like we were just, and nothing really happened, but something came in.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
Did you ever? All three of us felt it.
Did you ever do those like weird, creepy things where it's like Bloody Mary or like light as a feather, stiff as a board?
I have a light as a feather, stiff as a board story.
Okay, yeah, me too. You go with yours first.
We were at, again, Amber and Bliss, the twins, right? They were having a birthday party, and their birthday was in January. So my parents drove me out to the lake because our cabin wasn't winterized. So they drove me out just to have this fucking birthday party with a bunch of people from their like school, which of course I didn't know because I didn't live out there, right?
Mm-hmm. What lake was this at?
Candle. Anyway, so I don't know how many of us there were that night. 6 maybe? 6 girls. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think there was about 6 of us. And we're just fucking around, right? Like, and we were 15 maybe, I want to say. And we were like, oh, this probably doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. But literally we decided we're all going to do this. And we lifted this girl off the ground and we kept lifting her.
And you're not really touching them, right?
No.
They're like you're levitating above you.
Like barely touching. It's like brushing your fingertips, kind of like you do on the planchette, right?
Yeah.
So we're lifting up. We had to stand on the bed. We had her like we couldn't reach the ceiling. Otherwise, I'm sure she would have been at the ceiling. Like we were an inch away from the
Holy
ceiling.
fuck.
That's how far we got this girl. And we're all kind of looking at each other like, what?
Yes.
Like, considering none of us really thought it was a thing. And then we're like, we can't drop her. What do we do?
That's crazy.
And then we finally shifted and like we all freaked out and just dropped her. But like we moved out of the way so that she'd land on the bed, right? Because we had to stand on the bed to keep going.
Right. That's so creepy. And that reminds me of things I've read about Atlantis. It's like, actually, our mind is able to do crazy things, but it's best if it's group mind. If you have a collective of people working towards something, it happens way faster, which is apparently how the pyramids were built. There was like a group of people that would move these stones in the same way, light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Yeah.
My story is I was so little. I must have been like 8, maybe max, or younger. Like I was young, and it was like my older cousins. She was having a party, and she's like, "Kayla, come here. We're gonna do light as a feather, stiff of a board." So
Of
guess
course.
who got to be the board?
That would be you.
Me,
because you're little.
because I was little, and I was doing it, and I levitated, and I swear to fuck, no one was touching me.
Oh yeah.
And I remember all the girls being like, "Wow, we can't believe this is working," and all this stuff. And I was like, "I'm pretty sure I'm above the ground right now, and like I don't think anyone's touching me." It was so bizarre, but it's like I was so little that it's really hard for me to remember more than that.
I know, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would love to do it now.
Yeah, we should do that.
But we'd need a couple more people that are like
Convinced.
Super like in tune.
Yeah.
So I have a story.
Oh yes.
Oh my God, the shit that's happened in my house. Like I don't even know. So, well, you've seen my upstairs because we record in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I've seen things fuck around up there.
Yeah. Well, because I bought the house I grew up in. Spoiler alert, bought a haunted house. So anyway, so you know how there's like the stairs going down, but there's that railing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really, like, you can see through the railing, but nobody can really see you once you hit that certain spot on the steps, right? And so there's 2 bedrooms. So if you guys, I'm going to describe this to you. So if you're coming up the stairs and you look behind you as you're coming up, there's 2 bedrooms. There's 2 doors, right? And that's all you see are these doors because they're right beside each other. And that's about it. There's a hallway and that's your upstairs. So,
yeah.
But there is a railing around the stairs so you don't fucking fall down because this was built in 1910. So anyway, I brought my friend over to play. Lisa, of course, naturally.
Yes.
You guys have heard me talk about her like 1,000,001 times. So Lisa came over and like my sister took her to her bedroom because I don't know, but for whatever reason, it was cooler to hang out with the older sister. And I was super upset because they would not let me play with them in the room.
Fuck you, Lisa.
And I was just like, oh, like just upset. And I was like, she's my friend. And they were like, go away. And I was like, fine. And then I stomped away from their bedroom because, of course, their door is closed, right? Or my sister's door is closed. And I started stomping down the stairs. And I stopped and I was just at the level where nobody would see me, but I could still see everything that was going on upstairs because my head was level with the floor, right? So I remember as I'm stomping down the stairs, just pissed right off. And I'm like, oh man, I wish that door would just fling open and close on them. Like I was just, because I'm like, then it would scare them. Like,
oh my God.
I was young, clearly. I was like maybe 8. So I'm like, that'll show them. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm stomping downstairs and I remember I stopped on the step, looked up, the door flung open. I saw them both sitting on the bed. So I knew it wasn't them and the door slammed.
Holy shit.
And it was just for a second. It flung open. I saw them both sitting there and it slammed shut. And I was like, and I booked her downstairs. And they were like, you didn't scare us, Randy. And I'm like, that wasn't me. And I wouldn't go up for the rest of the night.
Oh my God, that's so creepy.
But like, thanks spirits hanging out in my upstairs. They were just like, yeah, let's do this. This sounds like fun. Even though it scared me more than it scared them, but still.
That didn't scare us, Randy. That's so cute.
Oh my God.
Yeah, haunted houses. So when I first out of high school, my friends had gotten like a house, they were renting a house, and did I live there? I don't know. I can't remember. But I was there all the time anyway. So I must have lived there. I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway, I don't know. It's
close enough.
fucking groggy. But anyway, this house had, like, every single person who lived there was having weird experiences, but we never really shared them with each other, so we didn't, like, know that the other one was dealing with it. So my main story, this is back in the day when you could rent movies. When you go to Blockbuster, you rent a DVD and then you take it back.
And that was half your evening.
Yes.
That was the experience, man.
Yeah, it was a good time going to Blockbuster just to shop for snacks and movies. It was a good time.
And like Friday at 4, you better be there if you want a new release.
Yeah, or someone else would get it.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
It was a good time.
So I'd rented this movie and I was like about to take it back and it was super late. So I had set it on the table and like pretty clear memory of setting it on the table. And I went to go get my shoes on or whatever the fuck. And I came back to get the movie and it was gone. And I was like, that's weird. I'm like 100% sure I put it on the table. But like I couldn't find it anywhere. I checked my room. I checked the kitchen. I checked the living room. I couldn't find it. And I was like, well, whatever. I guess I'm not taking it back because it was like nowhere to be found. And then like months later, we're cleaning the house. And you know how there's like a gap between the top of like lots of cupboards and then the ceiling?
Yeah.
Somebody was cleaning up there for some reason, like dusting. And they're like, oh, there's a DVD up here. And they pulled it out and it was the DVD that I was trying to return. And like, I can't reach that. And I've never stood on the counters. Like, I know that for sure. And I was like, I did not put that there. And then I was like, that was weird. And then I asked every single other person that was in and out of that house if they put it up there as a joke and like forgot. Everyone's like, we have no idea what you're talking about. So I was like, okay, whatever, like not a big deal. I don't find that to be overly, like that wasn't weird. But then a couple of days later, I set my phone on the table. And it's like a little flip phone. It was back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you're not going to forget where you put your phone, right? Like,
no.
You fucking know where that shit is. So I had it on the table.
Especially back in the day.
They were expensive as fuck.
For a tiny little fucking flip phone.
Not smart or anything. T9 texting, you guys.
Oh, that was some good shit.
Yeah. So I come back and it's not on the fucking table. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? And I'm like, this is weird. And I'm the only person home this time. So then I'm like, I bet you anything it's on the top of the cupboard. And sure enough, I pull up a chair, I look at the top, and there's my phone. And I was the only person home, and this is like a 5-minute window. There it was.
Fuck.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Was this here?
Yeah, it was in PA.
Oh my god, we should drive by that house.
Yeah, I heard somebody cleared it because like there was a whole bunch of other stories. Maybe I'll share them with you if we have time. But one time the police came there. Because we like to party. People called the cops on us all the time because it was like a residential area, you know? Mm-hmm. So like people were like, oh, we're trying to have families and these fucking hood rats trying to party all the time. So the police came one day and they were like, oh, this house. And we were like, what? And they're like, oh, we can't say. And they were like young cops, like, you know, they're like, don't really follow the rules, you know? Like they're like, oh, we're going to be rebels. And he's like, just imagine someone swinging from the stairwell. And we were like, oh, fancy that, because this place is fucking haunted. So they had told us someone that hung, basically, without saying it, that someone had hung themselves in the stairwell. And we're like, oh, well. And whatever the spirit was actually really nice. It was a trickster, because we used to fight. Like there was like 3 girls living there, and we all had shitty fucking boyfriends. And we'd all get drunk and party and fight. And then when we got into these real heated fights, the TV would go on full blast. And it was a flat screen, new TV. It would go on full blast and everyone would shut the fuck up because we're like, who did that? You know, and it would like silence the party.
Nice.
You know, and then my friend had stayed in the basement and she'd watch TV to fall asleep and it always changed to the country music channel. Always. She'd be watching a TV and it would change to the CMT channel.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Country music television.
Yes. And I can't remember anything else. Oh, yeah. And then my friend used to get up to go to the bathroom. And, like, you know the video game Skate? It's like skateboarding game, like Tony Hawk.
No.
Well, it's like a Tony Hawk skateboarding video game. And she'd come upstairs and it'd be, like, playing, you know? And she'd be like, go to bed, you guys. And she'd come out there and there'd be no one out there. And she's like, all right. And she'd go back to bed. So there's, like, little weird things like that. But definitely not, like, scary.
Oh, my God. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. Or another time that happened to me, it was like I came home really late and my bedroom was on the other side of the kitchen. So I had to walk through the kitchen. So I walked through it once. I dropped my stuff off and I came back to the kitchen to get water. And the oven element was on. You know how the stove says it's hot? And it's like orange glowing light. There's no fucking way in the pitch black you wouldn't have seen that the first go around.
Oh, 100%.
So I was like, okay. I came back and the element was on. And I was like, what's this? And I started touching it. And it was just getting hot. I was like, what the fuck? So I turned it off and like went to bed. I was like, what the hell's going on in this place?
Where was this house? Like, what area?
It was 1067 2nd Street East.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? Everyone who ever gets me to do a house clearing on that side of town, it's like burial grounds or sacred grounds. Like, I don't know what the settlers that first settled along the river did there, but like the whole area is fucked up. Like the East Flat.
And also up like Central Avenue, Kinsman area.
Oh, for sure.
That's where I thought you meant. Like when you were talking about this house, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder if that's where it is. That's why I asked, because I'm like.
It was the East Flat, but I also heard at Kinsman area, that's where he said to do the town hangings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all fucked up there too.
Yeah.
I believe that. I think Kinsman Park is beautiful, but it gives me weird vibes.
I've never felt comfortable there.
No, every time I go there, I'm like, I better get out of here.
Like, even if it's during the day doing a Ouija roast, I'm like, I can't be here.
Yeah, it's a weird vibe.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely haunted. You should go there one day.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a few of our stories. But before we go any further, I'm going to read you a story that was submitted to us by one of our listeners.
Yeah.
Yay, Sandy. Thank you for sending in. She's got 2 stories. Now, I purposely did not read these. I'm going to have a sip of water. Okay. So I'm going to read exactly what she wrote. I have not read these, so this is going to be exciting. Okay. My story starts back in 1984 when my mom and I had a small manufacturing business together. It was a few days before Christmas, and we were working around the clock to get orders out. Mom was working in the basement, and I came upstairs to pull together some decorations for the house. I was putting up twinkle lights in the living room when something caught my eye. I saw a figure of a young girl, about 9 years old, run across the room and hide behind a chair. Ooh, that sounds kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Of course, there was no one there when I looked. She had long dark hair, bare feet, and was wearing an old-fashioned nightgown with a high ruffled collar and long sleeves with the same ruffles at the cuffs. I saw her again a few years later, just a few days before my mother passed in 1991. Weird. Can you imagine seeing someone in like a period outfit?
No.
I'd fucking lose my shit.
No, for sure.
I'm like, why is it always like the 1900s kind of like garb? Like, you just know, like people 50 years down the road, their ghosts are gonna see like the fucking like low hanging jeans and like belly shirts. Like, they're gonna be like, what is this?
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Anyway, she sent in one more.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Right? Like why are little kids the creepiest?
Always little girls too. Actually, no,
I find the boys are creepier.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so another one. When I was working in our basement at the same small business, and I was down there alone one night with my back to another room of the semi-finished basement. I'm already getting chills. I don't like that.
Ah.
I don't like it. Okay. I felt the presence of someone in there, so curiosity got the better of me. Oh, that sounds like a really bad mistake. I saw or felt an older man sitting on a steamer trunk we used to store fabrics in. He was sitting there, half laughing, with an evil type of laugh. And when he opened his mouth, gross, I saw decaying teeth, and such a foul odor filled the room. Oh, I can't even. Oh my God. I ran out of there, fuck no doubt. And I'm back upstairs.
Run, Sandy, run.
Yeah, run, Sandy, run. Like, no shit. And back upstairs, leaving all the lights on. Well, that goes without fucking saying. I had to ask my father to go back down and shut everything off for me because I could not go back there that night. The next day, I went back down to work as usual, but he was no longer there. Like, as if I could go back down after that. Like, just, fuck. I never did see that entity again, but the foul odor faintly remained in that part of the basement for years. Oh, gross.
Ew.
We moved away in 1993. Maybe he's still there.
Oh my God.
I got chills. Fuck. Gross. Oh, gross.
Nasty.
Gross.
Those are good stories. Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy. Oh my God. Could you imagine?
Especially seeing shit. Oh my God, no.
And like Can you just picture like this old guy fucking laughing evilly? He opens his mouth and there's like decaying fucking shit.
Oh my God, gross.
Oh my God, I can't even.
No.
As if I would ever go back in that basement.
Never.
Like, props to you, Sandy, but nope. Just straight up nope.
Oh my God, fuck that.
Not without a bunch of fucking like Palo Santo and sage and shit and like
yeah. Decked out.
Oh fuck, solid. Oh my God.
Oh fuck. Not cool.
Oh man. That is those are good stories. Creepy as fuck though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no thank you.
No
thank you.
Ugh.
Although I'm sure, you know what, there's some that I'm like, I've experienced, or I'm sure other people are like, ew, no.
Yeah, that's true. When you're in it, it's like it's not as scary when you're in the moment.
It's not,
when
but at the same time it is.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's true. I feel like it's just confusion. It's probably more scary in the moment, but you're like, what the fuck's going on?
Do you
and then
find
later
that, though?
You like click in and you're like, what the fuck?
Like, I don't know. Do you ever get scared later? Like when something happens and you're like, your mind, you're like, I'm going to rationalize this away. It's not true. What I think it is. Mm-hmm. And then after you're like, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because fuck me.
Sure. 100%. I can't think of a specific example, but yeah, it's been a few times where I was like in the moment, like, this is a great idea. And then later I'm like, what the fuck?
There was, okay, so the same 2 bedrooms that we were talking about previously. So my bedroom was on the left, which is now my tarot filming room. And my sister's bedroom was on the right. And so backstory of our house, we had a gentleman, really nice gentleman. My dad actually knew him. He came in the back door and had a heart attack. And so like I can't remember if he died on the way to the hospital or if he actually died in the house.
Whoa.
So anyway, and he was a very tall gentleman. But so one time, like I would have been, I don't know, 14, maybe 13. I was sitting upstairs and of course you have homework after school, right? And my mom's salon her hair salon was close to the house. So my sister would always go to my mom's salon after school. And I was like, I just want to go home. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm going to get my homework out of the fucking way. So about 4:00 each day, I sit on my day bed. I have my little table in front of me and I start my homework. Then one day I see this tall shadow cross into like my sister's bedroom out of the corner of my eye. And I'm like, call my sister's name. She's not answering, but I'm like, that's not that uncommon. So I'm like, hello, no answer. Hello. And so I go into her room. There's nobody fucking there.
Whoa.
So I booked her downstairs. I phoned my mom's shop and I was like, did Heidi leave there? And she's like, no, she's right here. And I was like, okay. She's like, why? And I'm like, nothing.
Bye.
I saw him every day at that time. Exact same thing.
Really?
Tall, wearing a hat, crossed into that room.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But then I stopped being scared of him.
Right.
Right? But I was like, oh. And then it would be like clockwork. It's like 4:00. I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah, he'll be coming any minute now. Shadow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So when my sister died, but it's because we're talking about ghosts. But when she left to go to university, or not university, she went to hairdressing college. I was like, I'm moving into the bigger room.
Yes.
As you do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, that room, as I've said, is fucking haunted, right? So I'm sitting on my bed, and I remember I was studying for like a science test. And I'm like not the best at science, and I wasn't the best at math, so yeah. I had to actually like pay attention to what I was reading. And do you remember the old touch lamps?
Yeah.
My touch lamp was flickering.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that doesn't happen unless you touch it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh! And I just kind of got annoyed, and then it would stop. And I was like, okay. It's fine. It's nothing. Whatever. And I was listening to music on my stereo, like my old little ghetto blaster, right?
Ghetto blaster.
Music kept getting, all of a sudden the music would get really loud, and then it would go down. And then all of a sudden it would burst really loud, and then it would go down. And I'm like, fuck, stop it. I'm trying to study. like, I finally just had it, and I yelled at them. I was like, I'm trying to study. Nothing for the rest of the night. The lights stopped flickering. My sound went back to normal and just stayed. And I was like, thank you.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that room just shit happens all the time.
Weird. I wonder why that room.
I don't know. But it's not the other room. Like, it's not the room I stayed. Oh, that's not true. I have a story about that room too. Just once. I was sitting in there one night and I felt weird. But I'm like, oh, it's just me. Like, because I was sitting there with the door closed and it was fine. Like, never did I feel weird. But my one time, and it's the only time this ever happened, all of a sudden my cat stared at the one corner and started going fucking ape shit.
Whoa.
And I was like, what are you doing? And it would not stop staring at this corner, and it would just like rip around, like just like it didn't know what to do with itself. And I was trying to get out the door, and he never did that ever. And then I opened the door and it fucking was gone. And I was like, I'm going to follow my cat. Like, this is not cool. But that was the only time ever in that room.
That's so weird. In the Akashic records, this made me think of two things. In the Akashic records, you can clear a house just as you can clear a person, because everything has a record, right? So you can clear a house's record. And there's this interesting thing called portal ways. And they're just like, they usually exist in like those ominous corners or underneath the stairs or those mirrors that you avoid. Like, they're just uncomfortable. And what they are is they're just like a swinging door kind of thing of like shit that can travel in and out, like ghosts or entities or whatever.
What have you.
Yeah, and animals usually pick up on it. My dog, when she was a puppy, she used to bark at this one closet all the time. And used to scare the shit out of us. And we already hated this closet, but like her barking at it didn't help anything. And then finally I found out about the Akashic records and I cleared the house. And after that, she stopped barking at it. And we used to have this TV that we thought was just like kind of finicky. And you'd turn it on and then it would go to static and screech really loud.
Oh, yeah.
I cleared the house and it stopped doing that.
Weird.
Yeah. But like ghosts try to get your energy, right? They're like disembodied souls, so they're trying to find energy, so they'll try to scare you however they can. They're not actually always evil. Some of them are, but not all of them.
Not all of them, no.
They just want to scare the shit out of you. And like, yeah, whenever that TV screeched, I would freak out. So they definitely got the high off of me.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God.
Yeah, so creepy. Fucking ghosts.
Fucking spirits.
Yeah, life's weird.
I had like, this is just a small snippet of what I actually have. But I'm going to hold off. Because at some point, we are going to have Brad on here.
Yes, Brad. Stop working so hard.
Yes, Brad. Stop working so fucking hard. Because he and I have stories.
Oh, I want to hear those ones.
I'll tell you about one, though, because it reminded me of the one you said about the like hiding of the DVD. So I bought the house... When I was 19, I bought the house that was beside my parents because, like, we knew them growing up. Mr. Hagelin died in the house, and Mrs. Hagelin I think she passed away in the hospital. But anyway, my parents bought it to, like, make sure that nothing, no riffraff got in.
Right.
And rented it out to some nice people. And then they're like, when we turned of age, like when I turned 19, they're like, would you like to purchase this house? And I was like, yes. So we bought it off my parents. Because they were going to sell it regardless.
Nice.
Anyway, I have a fucking bunch of stories about this fucking house. It was haunted as shit.
Really?
Oh my God. Okay, so a couple little things about it. This was not my main story, but I'm going to tell you anyway. When we first bought the house, like, Dad was a cop, so we were like, you lock your fucking doors. Even if you're home during the day, you lock the doors, right? So every night we made it a thing, especially because first time living on your own in the house, like my sister and I are, we check the doors, the whole thing, go to bed. Wake up in the morning, she's like giving me shit for not locking the door. And I was like, well, you were there with me. Like we were both standing there. The door was open an inch. It was unlocked and open an inch.
Weird.
And we were like, fuck, did somebody break in?
Yeah, no doubt. That would be in my mind too.
Look around, nothing. Okay, fine. So that night we were extra careful. Close it, lock it, push on the door like a bunch of fucking times, make sure it's fucking good to go. right?
Mm-hmm.
Wake up the next morning, unlocked, open an inch.
The fuck?
That happened, I think, for a week straight.
What the hell?
And we were just like, okay, cut it out. And after that, it never did it again.
Crazy.
So anyway, so this is the house we're talking about, okay?
Whoa.
So Brad basically lived with us because he was dating my sister at the time. And wait, maybe this was when... No, they had broken up at this point and she had moved away. She was going to school in Red Deer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Brad still lived in the house. He was my roommate. So one day, I could not find my fucking house keys. Anywhere. Like, I made him look for it. I looked for it. We looked fucking everywhere. We had been playing a board game. I checked the board game. Nope, not there. Checked the freezers. Like, I looked everywhere for this fucking thing. And we checked for a couple days. We could not fucking find my house keys. So I was pretty fed up by this point. And I said to them, you have 24 hours to produce my keys. I'm done with this. I'm not playing this game. And I left my house. And I came in. And the next day, I checked the board game, which we already played, like, which we'd already checked, right? But we hadn't played for like a week, but whatever. I'm like, I'm just rechecking everywhere. It was in there. They were in this board game that I already checked. Just randomly, the keys were just sitting in this board game box.
Fuck?
That had been all closed up. That had already been checked once.
That's so weird. What board game was it?
Monopoly.
Oh, fuck.
But how weird is that?
That's super weird. Like, you can't even, like, make that stuff up, because it's like, why the fuck would you even think that they'd be in there? Do you know what I mean? Or why the fuck would I think that they'd be on top of the cupboard? You're just like, oh, something seems weird here.
Yeah. And especially when you've already checked it once.
Yes.
And I was just like, it was about the 24 hours was up.
Oh.
And I was like,
those little buggers.
Where are they? They used to lock us in our bathroom in that house all the time. Oh my God. Like, we'd get locked in.
Just so bored, hey? They just gotta cause trouble to entertain themselves. Yeah.
That bathroom, fuck, we used to tell our, like, guests, don't close the door all the way.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We're like, whoa. Or if you get locked in, just knock, we'll let you out.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what that was. That the...
I don't know.
The dogs all... Did you guys... I don't know if you guys heard that, but, like, they're ripping around like nobody's business. Anyway, but yeah, so weird stuff.
Super weird. Come on, Brad. I want to hear these stories.
Well, because there's lots of stories of, like, when he and I would go ghost hunting together.
Cool.
When he and I lived in the house together. Like, there is stories.
Oh, sweet.
Plus, he's got lots of his own. Because he kind of attracts that.
Ooh, shit. I want to hear these.
Let us know, guys. Do you want to have a podcast with Brad on and hear our stories or not?
Let's rally Brad. Come on, Brad.
Let's do this. Anyway, you guys. Do you have any more stories for this one?
No. I'll save... I've got lots of my good ones out already, so I'll save some of my other ones for the next podcast.
Yeah. I was just warming you guys up. I got way more.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Ha 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 ha. But yes, do send us your stories. We'll save them for the next time we do a ghost episode.
Yes.
And hopefully we can get Brad on here at some point and talk some more ghosts. But this was just a warm-up, you guys. There's way more where this came from.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Sandy, for sending in that
thank you,
creepy
Sandy.
Fucking story.
Yeah, oh my God.
And we will talk to you very, very soon on our next episode.
Yeah, see you then.
Bye.